Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be taking a look at a brand new LEGO Marvel set. That's going to be the newest expansion for the Iron Man Hall of Armor, set number 76216, Iron Man Armory, with 496 pieces. This set retails for $79.99 USD, $80. Not worth it. Right, straight off the bat, I'm going to tell you guys, do not buy this for $80. It is in no way, shape, or form worth it at all, and this is the worst cash grab I've ever seen from LEGO ever. The set does have an incredibly impressive amount of minifigures, a grand total of 8. We're going to take a look at all of them first, and while that does seem really cool at first, let me tell you that there really are only like 3 exclusive figures here, which is not what you want to see in an $80 set. The first minifigure in the set is going to be a non-exclusive Tony Stark character. Now, this exact same figure also appeared in the What If Iron Man set, the one that had the Sakaran Hulkbuster. So it's kind of disappointing to see it return here, considering that this torso is from the Avengers movie and not from Iron Man 2, but it's whatever. LEGO's not really care about the details. We have the traditional Tony Stark spiky hair there, a pretty usual face with the curved eyebrow, a very nice mock Metallica shirt with plain gray legs, and on the back he has the heads-up display with the angry expression with a few wrinkles for some torso printing. Nothing too special. It's a very basic minifigure and not one that's exclusive to the set, unfortunately. Speaking of non-exclusive minifigures, here's Pepper Potts, and this is the exact same character that appeared in the Ironmonger Mayhem set from last year, and again, LEGO, why? I mean, she works a bit better than Tony Stark in terms of, like, she probably wore this suit in this Iron Man movie at some point as well, but still, it's kind of disappointing. She got the burnt orange ponytail, a rather nice face, some freckles and a smiling face there, a female suit with no tie or anything, a white button-up shirt, plain black legs, and on the back, she's got an angrier expression, along some pretty good wrinkle and like line printing on the back of her torso, but again, not an exclusive minifigure and one I already have in my collection. Here is Nick Fury, and he also has appeared in a ton of sets. I'm thinking like the Far From Home sets, the Helicarrier set. Like, this man has been everywhere. He is like the most common minifigure in all of the set, and it's kind of bummed to see him here. He's got a nice facial expression. The eye patch strap goes almost all the way around his head. He's got some decent wrinkle lines in the back of his torso. He has the traditional trench coat piece to kind of continue the printing from his coat down there. Shield logo and a belt, nice design, but I mean, it's Nick Fury. He used to be cool, but now he's just kind of everywhere. Here's our first technically exclusive minifigure, and that's the Iron Man Mark III. I say technically because this is the exact same figure that appeared in the Ironmonger Mayhem set, with the exception of a new helmet design. You can see the printing is exactly the same as the original figure. Now, the new helmet is pretty interesting. That's what we're going to focus on right here. So it clips in, and instead of being printed like the previous one was on a gold piece there, like all gold, it's red with a different kind of visor there, and it gives like more angular designs. It looks a little different. You can lift up the visor. Underneath he has a trans clear head, very basic, and then to put it down, you put it down and you click it in place, it clips in. It's got some decent shaping on it. It's very round and it looks okay. It's larger than I was expecting, and it's like got a very big kind of bulbous style forehead, and especially you can't really tell with this minifigure, but you can definitely tell with War Machine when we look at him later. The offset, like, it's a very tall helmet. Like, it continues for way higher than the actual faces. Like, there's a huge gap up here, and that's not really present with the original minifigure. Like, if you look at how big the gap was on the original Iron Man, like, it was substantially less. And like, even if you take both of these figures and we're going to stand them back to back, you can see how much taller the new figure is. It's just like it's not terribly much, but it's definitely like there's an angle there, and just the helmet is so much bigger and bulkier. I'm not really sure why you need to go bigger there. I definitely prefer the smaller size. Aside from that, the character is not pretty interesting because it's a suit we already have, and I would have preferred maybe an exclusive one, you know, for an armory set. The Mark 85 suffers from the exact same problem. This is a suit we've gotten tons and tons of times before. Here is the other Mark 85. You can see it's exactly the same except for, again, the new helmet design. This also doesn't make any sense at all because this set is based off of Iron Man 2, and this is the suit from Endgame. What? Like, I totally understand them putting the Mark 25 in the set because, like, I mean, it's a suit we've never gotten. It's from the earlier movies, never appeared after Iron Man 3. But, like, the Mark 85? Like, I would have been perfectly fine if they took the Mark III and the Mark 85, scrapped both of them, and gave us one extra exclusive suit, you know? Would have sacrificed the 2 minifigures for one. Don't know why they did this. Think it's kind of stupid. This minifigure also has the translucent head underneath, the new style helmet, which you have to click in, there we go. Some printing on the back, nothing too fancy, gold arms, nice leg printing. I'm just not a big fan of the new helmet. The more I look at it, the more I'm like, it's too large and bulky, and it just has a very interesting design. doesn't look as sleek or as angular as the original helmet. Like the original helmet had the angles kind of carved into it in the mold, and this one has them printed on, and it just doesn't look as good in my opinion. The Mark 85 also comes with an assortment of nanotech technology. Here we have a really cool sword blade piece along with some of these jetpack boosters. No stickers or printing on them or anything. They're pretty basic as far as like attachments go. This one's not too great, but it still merits mentioning. Now, it might just be because I have nothing to compare this suit to, but the Mark 25 here is my favorite in the entire set. And I think the larger, kind of bulkier style helmet works for this character because of the armor piece here, the giant gauntlets. Like, it's a larger character, so it makes sense to have a larger helmet design. I really like the character being done in this gunmetal gray with all the yellow. It's a very interesting and unique character, and it's a suit we've never gotten before, so it's really, really cool to see here. We also got this character teased in one of the Hall of Armor sets. Back in 2019, this guy was on a sticker for one of them, so it's really cool to finally get him in Lego form. We use a really nice armor piece there in yellow. Of course, this character does not have Tony Stark's face, just the trans clear head, the same clip-on helmet feature, some very decent printing, a really good looking minifigure, and I love these giant gauntlet builds. Makes sense for the kind of character it was. They're a little finicky sometimes with these ingot pieces, but they still look really great. Again, love the back printing. This is probably the best Iron Man suit in the entire set. Here we have War Machine, and I can finally show you what I mean about the helmet being too tall. Lifting up his visor, look at where the head stops, and look at where the helmet stops. Like, there is so much space there. It just looks really off-putting and funky. And this is also not the first time we've gotten this suit either. This one I really don't mind getting a duplicate of because this was the original. And you can say it's definitely a sizable upgrade. Long overdue, and this one definitely looks a heck of a lot better. We have the exact same original arm cannon design on the back there. Pretty basic, and that does obscure most of the back printing. So we'll pull that off to give you a better look. And on the back, you can see it's just got some pretty basic designs. Now, something interesting is pulling this off, there is no alternate facial expression. There exists in production a War Machine face, a roadie face, that has the red heads-up display on the back. And Lego just chose not to use it. I don't know why. That's lazy. It's definitely something they should have done, and something I can't imagine would have cost them too much, and it really just makes the figure a lot cheaper. Like, I know I don't personally use the heads-up display all too terribly much, but it's missing, and it just feels really weird that it doesn't exist, and I really wish it did, because it just makes it so much lazier. Figure has no arm printing, but there's some decent leg printing and very nice torso designs. A really great figure overall. Probably my favorite character in the set, aside from the Mark 25, is going to be Whiplash. He's one of the Marvel villains that we've never gotten in Lego form. Now, Lego, for some reason, really isn't all that great about giving us Marvel villains. I mean, we've never gotten Caecilius. We didn't get Obadiah Stane for the longest time. We still never gotten Malekith, the Destroyer. So it's really good to get one of these Phase 1 villains here in Whiplash. I would have maybe preferred the racetrack outfit for him, but this one still is really cool. Using the comic book style Iron Man helmet, which is pretty interesting that they mix them here, along with the guard armor as well, which looks really nice. He's got two translucent chains here as his like electric whips. That looks really cool. And he does actually have an exclusive facial print underneath. And he comes with a hair piece as well you can give him. Now, I hate the facial print. It looks really good. It's incredibly accurate, but it's the wrong skin tone. This character was not white, and there exists a perfect new color, that being the one they used for Pedro Pascal, the Mandalorian, in the new N1 Starfighter. I don't know why they didn't reuse that here. That would have been perfect, but instead they whitewashed this villain, which is kind of disappointing. On the back, you can get a better look at his alternate facial expression, which is very angry, probably after he was told that he could not get his bird. Sorry, that was awful. I'll see myself out. But he got some pretty decent back printing there. It looks really good. I'm holding out hope that we still get a version of this character with the burned off like chest-looking apparatus from the racetrack. That'd be really, really cool. But aside from that, this character still looks really great. Love the menacing look of that helmet, and this is just a really cool Iron Man-esque figure, and it's a long overdue one too. Now, this set also includes 3 different displays of suits that Iron Man doesn't currently have in his armory, and this is a common thing that they do in the Hall of Armors. Usually they're on the back of the posts. This time they're on like individual displays you can remove and place in the actual suit holders. Not sure how I feel about that, and they also contribute to the set being way taller than it needs to be. More on that later. But the first one is actually for the Silver Centurion, Mark 33, I believe, if I'm reading those Roman numerals right. This was actually an exclusive poly bag that was given out with Marvel Superheroes 2, I believe, around the time that Age of Ultron came out. So it was really cool to get that suit, and it's finally like recognized in an actual set here. So that's really cool. Looks very accurate. The dual molding arms represented. And we have that really cool exclusive, why is there a bug back here? Go away. The really cool exclusive Chima shoulder piece. Some really good detailing. You can't really read anything else on it, but it's still a pretty great piece. The Mark 85 is also represented here in the nanotech. It's kind of like fading apart in the bottom, which looks really cool. We have the new arc reactor, the triangle design up there. Just says nanotech at the top, no suit designation. Looks really cool. It's nice to see that here. And long overdue, we finally have a heads-up display for the Mark I reconstruction suit, the original one. This, of course, came in the very first Iron Man Hall of Armor set, so it's really nice to see it finally recognized here. Very basic, very dirty. I mean, that's what the suit was. It's very accurate to that, but it's really cool to finally, get it pictured here. With all the minifigures out of the way, it's time to take a look at the build of the set. Now, the main attraction and main build of this set is going to be the actual Hall of Armor. That's going to be the last thing we take a look at. There are an absolute ton of side builds here, all these different workshops, the car, the middle build. So we're going to look at those first individually, give you my full thoughts and details on them, and then move on to the actual main build, that being the Armory. All right, forgive me, but I really don't know the name of this car. I do recognize it as the car from Iron Man 2 that Tony was driving when he gave Pepper the strawberries. Side note, they really should have included those strawberries as an accessory. But it's really good, very faithful. I am a bit displeased that it only has one seat for Tony. He does fit in reasonably well. You can just plop him into the seat there. But LEGO has proven that they can do a two-person wide car several times now, and they just did not do that here, which is a bit unfortunate. He does look pretty good in there. The windshield's rather large. It's a solid car. It rolls very well on its own. There's actually room in the back for the matte pieces here that make up the Stark Expo, the original one. I'll show you those closer in a little bit, but they just slot into place there. It's a really cool play feature. On the back, we have the Stark 11 license plate, some pretty good exhaust pipes, and a little bit of a spoiler. Very nice wheels. The car, is broken for some reason. On the bottom, there's not too much. There's no license plate on the front. Some really good paneling here. I love the lights and the angles. And Tony, once you pull them out, which is admittedly a tiny bit difficult to do, you can see there's not too much in there, though there is a stickered control panel, that being just some gear pieces, and then the steering wheel. It's a very simple car. Really nice. It could be a Porsche, but I could also be completely wrong, because I really don't know anything about cars. But it's nice to get here. I definitely would have preferred if they had sacrificed this and instead given us another suit and more exclusive character or a different build or something, but it's so nice that it's here, and I mean, it'll go well with the collection of cars I have from Iron Man's Armory. Two different work tables are included in the set, both built the exact same way, that being a single 4x6 plate here with some different pieces on the bottom to act as wheels. I say wheels because they don't actually roll, although they do slide reasonably well. The first table has an Iron Man helmet, which only has a singular translucent head underneath there, and that just kind of sits free floating on the table. There's also a gun piece made up of some of the extra silver parts that come in the giant bag, and that just kind of rests there. Those are meant to be taken off, and what you can do is take the matte pieces from Tony's car and actually attach those to the table here, and then you get one giant map, and then there you have the Stark Expo, which looks really cool, all things considered. And I think I might have put those on wrong, but I can't quite tell. But that looks so good, and that's how we found out, of course, that there was the giant new element to make, and that saved his life. It's a really detailed sticker. It was a little bit unfortunate to put on. I managed to get a decent stickering there, and it doesn't look too crooked. However, be very careful with this. It is very detailed, and I was never expecting to get this in LEGO. This is just such an iconic part of Iron Man 2, and a really huge part of the MCU's history. I mean, without this, we wouldn't have Iron Man. Probably wouldn't have had any of the other movies and everything, so it's really cool to get that. Love it here. And on the other table, it's slightly less interesting. It's not as cool as the Stark Expo table, but we have part of the Mark III there dismantled hanging. They used some more of those elements from the pack that had the gun to kind of show the legs are being worked on. There's just some loose metal bits hanging down, a plain black head there, and you can position this kind of however you want to hang it. There's a coffee cup and then two stickers, one that's just the Iron Man suit on the side along with some warning signs about it, and then here's a scan of the dismantled Mark III, kind of showing what's being worked on there. There's also two different blueprints. These are stickers. One is a blueprint for the partial cap shield, which Coulson found in the armory during this scene, which is, well, not this scene specific, but this movie. And the other one is just a picture of the new element, the triangle thing, him trying to synthesize it, held it upside down. Pretty cool. This one's definitely my favorite. I would have loved if we got an actual piece for this shield, which would be really cool. Or maybe if they redid Coulson and included him instead of any of the other characters in the set. But hey, you can't have everything you want. There's a plain chair included in the set. It's literally just a chair. There's nothing special about it. Then we have two other workstations, not so much work tables. This, I believe, is supposed to be a press. I'm not sure exactly. It's some kind of tool. I recognize the shaping of it, but I guess you're supposed to turn this piece, and then this moves up and down. It doesn't actually, but that's the tool it's supposed to represent. It's really cool, well built. it kind of just like exists to use up some more of those silver pieces. There's still a handful of them left over. To be in fact, this is the number of pieces that you get left over afterwards. So these silver pieces you don't use. Only 4, it's not terrible. And then the other work table actually has drawers. All of them are empty. There's nothing inside. We have a gun and then a wrench along with, I believe this is supposed to be a presentation of the arc reactor, and then an unprinted Iron Man statuette, which is unfortunate because there exists a printed element for that from the last Armory set. Lazy Lego didn't include it. And there's a little lamp here, which is pretty nice. It would have been cool to see something kind of included in the drawers there, but of course, lazy Lego, why would they put anything in the set there? They also included the center display stand for the Iron Man Hall of Armor, which is a lot more lackluster than the previous edition. It does not rotate, which is a bit unfortunate, and it's very monochrome, very just singular color there. It does not connect to the rest of the armory. You can put one minifigure on it. We're displaying the War Machine, and you can spin this around. It's the exact same, identical from all sides. Very stationary, very plain, nothing too special here. I guess if you wanted to, you could have like the Iron Man's like drone thing, trying to cut him out of the suit. Reenact the scene, but this is a lot more plain and lackluster. I actually forgot to record it originally and had to redo this because it's just that not memorable that I completely forgot it was a part of the set. The final of the side builds is going to be a dummy-esque robot. Of course, this is not dummy. I don't really recognize this one. I'm assuming it's just one of like the beefy robots that kind of helped cut Tony out of his suit back in Iron Man 1 because it's got a buzzsaw attachment there. It's pretty cool. The wheels don't turn. There is like full position posability of the top arm here, so you can wiggle that around a lot. It's kind of cool. It's nice to get one of the robots. Like it's nice that like I recognize it. It's not like a completely random thing. I would have preferred maybe another build for Dummy, although we have gotten a lot of him recently. So I guess it is cool to get some type of an exclusive robot. Doesn't really do anything for me. It's probably not going to end up on my display, but it does look nice that they included it. All right. Finally, it's time to take a look at the actual Iron Man Armory section. Now, this is a substantially lesser build than previous times. And I don't understand why. So you still have like the full posability to kind of bend this in and out as you would. And the sections do come apart. Well, not well, but they do come apart. You just have to be a little more careful about how you do it because of how they're connected. When you do break them apart, you do get 8 individual of these little modules. And you might notice, they only have clips on the bottom. There's no clips on the top, which is very interesting. The only clips on the top come from these sections up here that I'm trying to remove without breaking everything, and these are your top sections. Now, notably, they only give you 4 of these, meaning if you want to actually make the armory widespread, you don't have enough clips to connect them on the top, because you can do this, but then the whole thing is just completely fragile. It's only connected on the bottom. And sure, you can put these on the top here, and then that makes these solid modules. But then what do you do with the guys on the end? They're just kind of free-floating. They look empty. It's like they just forgot to add 4 more. And I can't for the life of me understand why. Like, it wouldn't have been that many extra pieces, and you're already charging $80 for a less than 500-piece set. The least you could do is make it 530 pieces and add 4 more of these, and so the set's actually, completable. You don't have to always display it like this. You can stack some of them, but at least you have the option to do this. Instead, I had to make my own custom modules for displaying this using some other pieces from my other armory sets. And even then, you can't get an entirely accurate one. This is what I ended up coming up with, but I could use these to display if I wanted to. That shouldn't be the case. It really shouldn't. Aside from that, though, you do have a lot of different positions here to display your Iron Man figures. You can put characters up on the top here, looking out the balcony if you want, or you can put characters, like you're supposed to, inside the actual display. That doesn't look too good now, does it? Why is there a gap, like almost an entire minifigure's worth of a gap in there? Like you could fit a sitting down minifigure on top of that guy's head and still have enough room. And now I understand completely why they did that. And that's so you could fit these holographic suit displays in there. But why would you do that? I already complained about them when we were doing the minifigure section because they used to have a really great way where they would put this sticker on these panel pieces in the back here, and that's what they did for all the other sets, and then you could make them the same height, and they could display the electronic stuff from the back. Instead, they decided to increase the height here, and then make it so when you put a minifigure in here, it looks completely ridiculous. Like, well, why is it so tall? I don't understand it. Aside from that, there's a little side build here that controls that holds a fire extinguisher and one of the new giant stud shooter guns, which is nice to see. It's nice to see the fire extinguisher. It's a, pretty cool callback to LEGO's classic days. And then, of course, there's a plain display stand where you can attach the weapons like display, the nanotechnology from this suit, the 85, if you want to just kind of hold it there. And the set does tell you to put the legs from the Mark III on display because, of course, the torso is on that little work table. Aside from that, there's nothing else here. I am not a fan of how this works at all. And it is nice that you have a lot of customability here. Like you can take off sections and you can stack them, and you can do cool things like this. If you really wanted to, you can make like a pretty good, like different kind of shape display and change this up. It's really modular, which is quite nice. I just don't like the new style. I think these garage door flaps are weird. There's weird gaps and I don't understand their purpose, and they break easily. Like you can just wiggle them around, but I mean, like, why would I want to? Like, why do I want that? I can't get over the height, and I just don't like how it's different from the previously established Iron Man sets. You're either forcing people to spend exorbitant prices to buy the old sets, which are probably going to skyrocket in value, or pay exorbitant prices to get multiple copies of this new set just so they can have a normal looking display. And I apologize if you can hear fireworks in the background. It is 4th of July. That being said, not a fan of this, but let's move on to the box of the manual before I spontaneously combust from ranting about how awful this build is. The box for this set is relatively plain, featuring Thanos on the side with the Infinity Saga logo up top. The comic paneling goes all around the corners of the boxes. We have a very nice fight scene taking place in the Hall of Armor, despite no fight scene ever taking place in the Hall of Armor during Iron Man 2, but it does a very nice job of displaying kind of everything here. All the characters listed on the bottom of the box, not the top, which is kind of unique for Marvel sets at this point, I think. On the back, we have Thanos in his Lego form, along with no whiplash. It's just the characters kind of chilling, hanging out. All the suits are here. I guess this is when the Shield Age is trying to make Tony fix his heart in the beginning of the movie, which is pretty interesting. Showcases the bendiness of the Hall of Armor, and then the stud shooter for Pepper Potts. The instruction manual for the set is awful, as per usual. We have a very, very bad image of the set here. It's very blurry, not crisp at all. There's no, like, detailing on the Lego pieces. There's no shadows. And all the characters are incredibly static, kind of just standing around. Nothing looks, like, really cool. This is the norm. We have the Infinity Saga logo up here. Not even the Marvel logo. It's just Marvel Studios Infinity Saga. Pretty interesting. Wind Pirate on the back, not the Wind Man. The back of the manual, we have the parts list, along with an advertisement for those sets of this line, including the life-size Baby Groot and the Iron Man figure. As soon as August 1st rolls around, I'm buying that, and you'll see a review for that ASAP, so stay tuned for that. Nothing else special about the manual. It does have the progress bar. Very basic, just manual. Before I give you the final verdict, I do want to just run by some very interesting facts real quick about this set. So in 2022, this 496-piece set retailed for $80. It has 8 minifigures, and technically speaking, okay, there are 5 exclusive minifigures. That being said, the Iron Man Marks III and 85, the only new part about them is the helmet. The rest of them we've gotten several times before. Well, the Mark III only once before, but the Mark 85 several times before. And then the only, like, new figures is the Mark 25, Whiplash, and the new revamped version of War Machine, which I really do like. Now, jump back a couple years to 2019. Set number 76125, the Iron Man Hall of Armor. 524 pieces. Okay, that's almost 30 parts more than this set. That set retailed for $59.99 USD. $60. That's 20 less than this set. And it had 6 minifigures, so slight downgrade. That being said, there were 3 completely exclusive suits, a new build for Igor, Outriders, which was kind of meh, and then the Iron Man, but there were also 9 suit compartments as opposed to just these ones, and they fit so much better. So it was arguably a better set because it had more compartments. Everything was connected. There wasn't just like free-floating stuff. I will say that there's a little bit more here with the tables and the car and everything, but it's less pieces. It's less parts. And it's still $20 more. And arguably, the figures are worse because we're only getting 1 new Iron Man suit, a revamped old version of the War Machine, and then a new villain. But still, I don't understand how LEGO can pull this. That being said, this set gets a solid 4 out of 10 for me. When I heard they were going to do another Iron Man Armory, I was incredibly excited, very pumped, very happy, because I wanted to expand and add on to my old one. And then they came out with this design, and like you saw in the review, I'm not a big fan of the way these look. I think it's truly atrocious. I can't recommend this set for you guys. I don't buy this until it goes on clearance, and it will be going on clearance at some point, because I really don't think this is going to be selling well at all. Now, of course, I could be completely wrong, but I really think that this set is going to perform poorly. That being said, though, guys, let me know what your thoughts are about this set in the comment section down below. Do you think I'm completely off base? Is it better than I'm giving it credit for? Please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. I'm just like sick of how bad this is to me. That's all I got for you guys today. Thank you all so much for watching. Have a fantastic and safe rest of your day. I'll catch you all in the very next video.